What's up, guys? I'm Big Brian, and let's talk football, guys. Um, let's just get straight to the point. James Franklin has got to go. He's got to go. uh, Hang on, let's check some of this out right here. Agreeing with I'm not even gonna say I'm agreeing because we've been saying this for years. Right here, right here.
To get in another play. However, spiked the ball with no seconds on the clock, and Texas lost to Florida 29-21. Meanwhile, another loss for James Franklin, this time to an unranked UCLA team. Penn State's defense allowed Nico Maliava to have 294 total yards and 5 touchdowns in the big win. Dan Orlowski joins us right now from what looks like an Uber driving around somewhere. But Dan, which loss was worse? Was it Texas or Penn State?
There's no question this is Penn State. This is one of the worst losses in the James Franklin era. It could be the worst loss, and I think the world of Coach Franklin. But Penn State was going to be just fine after that Oregon loss. You lose at home in an unbelievable football game, essentially in overtime on the last play, to a very good Oregon team. Like, you were going to survive, okay? If you could just figure out a way to, again, play competitive against Ohio State and get into the college football playoff. You go to a place that is struggling right now as a program. They don't have anybody at their games. They just fired their head coach. They had 2 days of practice under this new coach, Rick Neuheisel's son, and you get that many points, 42 hung on you, when one of the prize hires of this college football season was new defensive coordinator Jim Knowles at Penn State. And so this is a brutal loss for Penn State. It's a mandatory win out to get back into the college football playoff.
Oh, Stephen, I think you're muted. I think you might be muted. There we go.
I'm not muted. It's not me. You got me now?
Yep,
You got me now?
got you now.
One of the things that we want to make sure we alert the American public about is that that's not a black Uber that Dan Orlowski is in.
How about those Bruins?
The cheapest version.
All right, my man, what's happening?
Because he is Cam.
This is
Cam
a
is as cheap
purchase.
as they come. This brother would use coupons to get on a flight if he could. He's pathetic in that regard. Let's get that out the way first. He ain't trying to spend no money, okay? That's number one.
No shame.
Number two, you brought up Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator. You left something out, Dan. The man is being paid $3.1 million. You got him to come from Ohio State, okay, to come to you for $3.1 million. He is the highest paid coordinator in college football. And UCLA, who was 0-4 entering the game, dropped 446 yards on him. That's pathetic. Now let's get to James Franklin, because I am unapologetic about rooting for African-American coaches. I want them to win. You know, obviously for years and years and years, it's been a struggle for these guys to get opportunities, particularly in college football. And it's nice to see a guy like James Franklin, you know, getting the opportunities that he has. But respectfully, sir, you got to make the most of it. You're 1-10 against Ohio State.
Right.
What is the number against? You're 3-7 against Michigan.
Right.
I'm looking at some of these stats in here. 4-21 at Penn State against AP top 10 opponents.
Let me pause this. Yeah. Penn State could not beat Ohio State. Like you said, they 1-10. Can't beat Michigan. Only team they could beat Maryland. And, you know, but man, he got to go, man. He been there, what, 10 years? And one of my friends was talking. We was talking the other day, and he was pissed off. He's like, man, you know, he said, I said they need to fire Franklin. He's like, yeah, but it'll cost $53 million to fire Franklin. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But if you wait till January, it'll be 46. Okay, I said, well, okay, January, he need to go. Let me get back to these guys.
Including 1-18 against top 10 Big Ten teams. I mean, my God, what the hell is going on? This is Penn State we're talking about here. This is a program that opened the season as top 2, and now they're out of the top 25. And oh, by the way, they got games coming up against Ohio State, who again you're 1-10 against. And then on top of it all, you got to go up against number 8 Indiana at some point as well. It's almost like, okay, we didn't win the big game. We played against Oregon, went down to the wire, we battled them, but because we didn't get that done, we're demoralized, and we forget every damn body else on our schedule. This is the kind of problems that James Franklin has had. You cannot, I repeat, Amina, Cam, Dio, y'all know this. You cannot be a coach at a top-notch program, and that program is known for repeatedly losing big games against the biggest opponents. You got to win sometimes. And
I'm going to tell you, Penn State got some loyal fans. Last game, that whiteout game, 110,000 people showed up. And then you have like another 20,000 people tailgating, man. So, I mean, Penn State, they have more people at their games than be at the pro teams.
And that has not been the case against James Franklin, and I think it's very, very bad. This is a man that was in the National College Football Playoffs last year. I know it. I understand it. But you got to win these big games, man. You can't be losing like this. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
So when you talk about the biggest,
One more thing. Yeah, Penn State, like the Cowboys, win or lose, they're going to get the fans. The people are going to show up. That's how loyal Penn State. I mean, they remind me of the Cowboys. Win or lose, the people are gonna show up, man. Because that's, I mean, you know, you got, like I said, you got 20,000 people tailgating at Penn State. Ain't no joke. It's crazy. But yeah, 10,000 people in the stands.
disappointment, it's definitely James Franklin. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. Well, when you go into a hostile environment like the Texas Longhorns winning this past weekend, it doesn't matter what the record was for Florida. It's still Florida. Mm-hmm. It's still the swamp.
Yeah.
And you have to consider that. And I would like to say we should change the SEC Southeastern Conference initials or abbreviation to the SET. Strong every time in reference to the teams that you have to play on a week-to-week basis. Hey, and by the way, let's change the doggone name of the Big Ten and let's just change it to the Big Breeze. Because I'm getting tired of teams that saying, okay, Michigan, okay, Ohio State, okay, UCLA, okay, Oregon. It's a big breeze over there. And there's no comparison. If you want to talk about a team that's about to go through a doggone real gauntlet, it's the University of South Carolina. You got LSU. You got all type of teams. You got Ole Miss. You got Texas A&M at home.
Run the ball.
But yeah, guys, James Franklin has got to go. And a lot of people have been saying that for years, because you can never beat Ohio State. And Ohio State always, they win championships. And you can't beat Michigan. The top teams you just can't beat. What's it, 1 out of 10? You beat Ohio State 1 out of 10 times. So that's it for, I think, let me see. That might be it. What else they talking about? Let me see what else they talking about. Real quick. Stay tuned. Cam just changed the subject.
But the schedule, Dan, is what I'm saying. They are about to go through a gauntlet of a schedule.
Yeah.
When you're looking at Penn State, you just played 0-4, a deprived coach, and the coach is having issues with college on the sideline.
And by the way,
like, come on, what are we doing?
And by the way, guys, they won 3 games this year versus Nevada, Florida International,
Oh.
and Villanova.
Oh,
What? What?
Yeah.
That can't happen. That
Breeze.
cannot happen.
Not the Big Ten, the Big
not
Breeze.
Big Bree.
Yo, Penn State should have got Bill Belichick, man. That's what they needed.
Jeez.
They never not even a breeze.
That's why. That's why, I mean, like, I think if anybody who has followed the SEC and followed college football, I don't know if there's that many people surprised, let alone shocked, that Texas went to the Swamp and lost. Florida's talented. We've seen Florida play in a ton of big games. A lot of self-inflicted wounds have led to their losses so far this year. For Penn State, who was a top 2 or top 3 team unequivocally going into this season, to go on the road to a place that had just fired their coach. And again, I say this to not be disrespectful, but as a kid, a puppy coaching them, they had 2 days. 2 days to prepare for this game as an offense, UCLA did. And they hung 42. Penn State, who's got 2 backs that are unbelievable. They got a quarterback that some people thought potential top 5, top 10 pick at the position. Coming off of a game, again, if you had just gone out and if you were Penn State and handled your business this past week, everybody would have been pointing to November 1st in that Ohio State game. The fact that you lost this game, I'd ask all the Penn State fans, find me a worse loss in the James Franklin era. And again, I'm a huge fan. I think he's a very good coach. To answer the question on the screen, how much is James Franklin on the hot seat? I'll go back to last.
Yes. James Franklin is on the hot seat. People want his head on a silver platter. Yes.
Here in Ohio State and Ryan Day. Because I remember being in studio with Kevin Nagandi and Burger McFarland and watching that Michigan loss by Ohio State and how poorly they played. Remember, that's the post-game fight and whatnot. And sitting there going, dude, like, does Ohio State have to fire Ryan Day? Because he's a ridiculously good coach. But just because of all the noise and the expectation and what that loss felt like. And all of a sudden, Ryan Day weathers the storm, steers the ship, and they win the national title. I'm not telling everybody that's going to happen, but it just feels like a similar situation where people are looking back going, I get text messages from Prince. Is Penn State going to fire James Franklin? I'm like, are you guys out of your minds? They're not going to fire James Franklin. But it is a like, dude, you got to go get it done if you're Penn
Fire him.
Well, let me say this to you. Everyone is expendable. Let's get that out the way first. Secondly, I get sick and tired, and I'm not directing this at you nor Cam, or obviously not Amina, but I want to see y'all when I say what I'm about to say, because it might be somewhat controversial. I don't think it is, but I don't give a damn either. Listen, I love me some Kirk Herbstreit. I think Kirk Herbstreit, it's a treasure to have him as a part of this network and to work with him and to watch him work on behalf of our
goats.
network. But if there was one thing, that's right. But if there was one thing I profoundly disagreed with him about, was how supportive he was of Ryan Day last year when Ryan Day was on the hot seat. Kirk Herbstreit knew better than most. You go to Ohio State, you can't be losing to Michigan.
Yeah.
You can't just continue losing to Michigan. And you can't be losing to Michigan and not win a national championship. Now, he ended up winning a national championship, so he killed all of that noise. But it was as if there was an absence of justification for people Ryan Day on the hot seat. Ryan Day, if he's watching this show right now, let me be very, very clear. He was always a damn good coach. Make no mistake about it. He won significantly more than he lost. And we know that 99% of the programs, he was qualified to be the head coach of that program. But when you are at Ohio State, you got to do one or two things, preferably both, but definitely one or two. You got to beat Michigan, or you got to make sure you in that college football playoffs challenging for a national title, if not winning it. And when they had lost to Michigan, there was a question mark as to whether or not they were going to make the postseason. And everybody was in, folks were in an uproar. Like, how could you do this with Ryan Day? Who the hell do these people think they are? You're James Franklin. You're at Penn State. He is a black man coaching on a big time level in college football. Of course, I'm rooting for him. I ain't apologizing for that to a damn soul. But you got to get it done. You can't go 1-10 against.
I don't care if he's black or white, Stephen A. He still can't beat Ohio State. And he can't beat Michigan. He needs to go.
Ohio State. You can't keep losing to Oregon. You can't be 3-7 against Michigan. You can't go 1-18 against the Big Ten, okay, and stuff like that. No, it's Penn State. You got to be able to do it. You got to be, and you damn sure can't lose to UCLA, who, by the way, didn't even have a crowd Saturday. It was barely folks there. Because they didn't want to come there with bags. They couldn't find enough bags at the CVS to put over their head because they were so damn disgusted at what their program has regressed into. Yeah. So you basically lost to a nobody right now, which is what you said. And I'm right down the block from Westwood as we speak. And if they want me to walk on campus and tell them they ain't worth a damn right now, I'll do it for them. They ain't worth a damn. You ain't supposed to lose that game. You're supposed to lose that game.
But I give you one line. Real
quick.
If James Franklin is in the SEC with what he has been doing, he's potentially getting control.
I see what you're doing. We gotta go.
If you're an illegal alien, this runway